Assalamu alaikum, dear students. In the last lecture of chapter 2, Mathematical Methods, we have studied vector operations, where we had seen the first point, multiplication of a vector by a scalar. Second, addition and subtraction of vectors. And third, triangle law of vector addition. Now, let's have example 2.1 based on these topics. Express vector AC in terms of vector AB and vector CB shown in the following figure. As over here, it is given vector AB is given in magnitude and direction. Vector AC is given in magnitude and direction. And vector CB is also given in magnitude and direction. Where in this figure, it forms a triangle there. Triangle ACB. So over here, we have to use the triangle law of vector addition. And as per the triangle law of vector addition, over here in the given diagram, in the given figure, vector AC, which is to be given in magnitude and direction and represents one side of a triangle. At its end point, vector CB is started. The starting point of vector CB is coincide with the end point of vector AC. And vector CB is end at the point B there. And also vector CB represent the second side of a triangle. So we can say that these two vectors are added together. Vector AC is added with vector CB, and hence the addition of these two vectors will be represented in magnitude and direction by the third side of a triangle as per the triangle law of vector addition. And the resultant that we are getting by means of the third side of a triangle, it starts with the starting point of the first vector and end at the ending point of the second vector. So over here, vector AB represent the resultant of the addition of the two vector AC and vector CB. So over here, by using the triangle law of vector addition, we can say that vector AB is equal to vector AC plus vector CB. So here we can write vector AC plus vector CB is equal to vector AB there. As in the question, it is to be obtained, we have to express the vector AC in terms of vector AB and vector CB. So over here, we are supposed to rearrange the equation. First of all, by using the triangle law of vector addition, we have to write down the equation like vector AC plus vector CB is equal to vector AB. Now, we have to express our result in terms of AB vector and CB vector. So here, when we are rearranging this equation, so we can write vector AC is equal to vector AB, and this vector CB on this side becomes negative. So we can write vector AC is equal to vector AB minus vector CB. So in this way, we have to write down our final answer. As the question is given, express the vector AC in terms of vector AB and vector CB as shown in the following figure. So we can express the vector AC in terms of vector AB and vector CB as vector AC is equal to vector AB minus vector CB. Now, let's have the example 2.2. From the following figure, determine the resultant of four forces: vector A1, vector A2, vector A3 and vector A4. Over here, it is given that four vectors are there: vector A1, vector a2, vector a3 and vector a4, and we have to determine the resultant of these 4 vectors there. So obviously it is to be given like the resultant of these 4 vectors as vector a5. Now let's see the solution. So over here, to solve it, we are using the triangle of vector addition, and hence, as in the figure, vector a1 is given in magnitude and direction by the side OA, and we can say it is the one side of a triangle there. And vector a2 is given in magnitude and direction by the second side of a triangle AB there. So here we have to join point O to B, which gives the third side of a triangle, and this third side of a triangle is nothing but the resultant of the addition of the vector a1 and vector a2 there. So here we can say that OB, vector OB represent the resultant for the addition of the vector a1 and a2 there. So here we can write OB as a1 vector plus a2 vector there. Then next, here we have to again join point OC. So it becomes the vector OC there to complete the triangle OBC. First we had complete the triangle, that is OAB, by joining the point O to B there. Now we have to join the points OC there. So over here we are completing the triangle OBC. So in this triangle, as we can say that the side OB represent the one side of the triangle, then the vector BC represent the second side of the triangle, and addition of these two vector OB plus vector BC gives the resultant, and hence the addition of these two vectors as the vector OC. As vector OB is vector a1 plus a2 and vector BC is vector a3. So OC will be nothing but the addition of these two vectors, that is a1 plus a2 plus a3. So over here, when we join the vector OB to complete the triangle OAB, so we are getting the resultant as vector OB is equal to vector OA plus vector AB, and hence the value of vector OB is a1, vector a1 plus vector a2. Now, as we are obtaining the value of vector OB as vector a1 plus vector a2, and here we are joining to form the triangle OBC, and hence we are joining the vector OC, which represent the resultant of this triangle by means of the addition of two vectors, vector OB and vector BC. So here we can write vector OC, that is vector OC is equal to vector OB plus vector BC. The value of vector OB we are having vector a1 plus vector a2, and the value of vector BC we are having vector a3. So value of vector OC we are getting as vector a1 plus vector a2 plus vector a3. Now over here we are getting a triangle OCD also. So we can say that vector OC is added with the vector CD, and vector OD is given the resultant of the addition of these two vectors. So here we can say that vector OD, which is nothing but the vector A5, is equal to vector OC plus vector CD, vector OC plus vector CD. The value of vector OC we are having as vector A1 plus vector A2 plus vector A3. And value of vector CD we are having as vector A4. So value of vector OD we are getting as vector A1 plus vector A2 plus vector A3 plus vector A4. And hence finally we can say that the value of the resultant of these two forces as vector A5 is equal to vector A1 plus vector A2 plus vector A3 plus vector A4. Thus, the vector OD is nothing but the resultant of the four vectors there, that is the vector A1, vector A2, vector A3 and vector A4, which is to be represented by vector OA, vector AB, vector BC and vector CD respectively. So here we had seen these two examples based on the topics, that is the addition and subtraction of vectors and triangle law of vector addition. Let's proceed further. The next topic we have law of parallelogram of vectors. As in the last lecture, we had seen the first point, multiplication of vector by scalar. Second point, we had discussed addition and subtraction of vectors. And also we had seen triangle law of vector addition, which are the points of the topic vector operations. The last point of the vector operations, that is the law of parallelogram of vectors there. Actually, this is another geometrical method of adding two vectors, which is called as parallelogram law of vector addition, which is stated as if two vectors of the same type originating from the same point, tails at the same point, are represented in magnitude and direction by the two adjacent sides of a parallelogram, their resultant vector is given in magnitude and direction by the diagonal of a parallelogram starting from the same point. This is the statement of the law of parallelogram of vectors, and it is shown in the figure 2.7. As per this law, it is given that when the two vectors of the same time is originating from the same point, as at a point O, the vector P is originating and vector Q is originating, and these two vectors are coinciding at the same point. That means its tail or its starting point is there at the same point, and these two vectors actually represents the two adjacent sides of the parallelogram. If we are considering a parallelogram OACB there, so OA side and OB side, which are the adjacent sides of the parallelogram, represents the vector P and vector Q respectively. And over here, the origin of these two vectors is at the same common point. So, according to this law, if two vectors, vector P and vector Q of same type, originating from the same point, it starts over here at the point O, is to be given as or represented in magnitude and direction by the two adjacent sides of the parallelogram, then their resultant vector, when we are adding these two vectors in this way, so obviously the addition will be given as a resultant vector. So the resultant vector is given also in magnitude and direction, and it is to be represented by the diagonal of the parallelogram, and as the magnitude is to be given as represented by the diagonal of this parallelogram is nothing but OC. Okay, and the direction is also given over here by means of this diagonal, and as this vector OC represents the resultant of the addition of vector P and vector Q, which is started from the common point O. So, when we are adding these two vectors and we are applying the law of parallelogram of vectors, so that the resultant vector is also given in magnitude and direction, which is to be represented by the diagonal of the parallelogram, and the starting point will be at the same point. That means the diagonal which represent the resultant of the addition of these two vectors, which is given in magnitude and direction. So obviously its starting point of the resultant is also coincide with the same common point. That means over here, as you can see at a point O, this point O will be the originating for the vector P, for the vector Q, as well as for the resultant. That means this is the common point by using which all the vectors are to be started there. The origination of the addition of the vectors is there at the common point, and the resultant is also to be originating from the same common point. So over here we can say that when the two vectors of the same type originating from the same point, as from in this diagram it is originating from the point O, so that when it is to be represented in magnitude and direction by the two adjacent sides of the parallelogram, then the resultant vector which is given in magnitude and direction by the diagonal of the parallelogram is starting from the same common point. So this is about the law of parallelogram of vectors there. So in this figure we can say that vector OA is nothing but we are representing as vector P, and vector OB, it represents the vector Q, as it represents the two vector originating from the same point O and inclined to each other at an angle theta. We can say vector P and vector Q, they are forming the angle theta there, and they are inclined at a point O by making an angle theta. And when we complete the parallelogram, then according to this law, over here the diagonal OC, which gives the resultant over here, and we can give as vector OC as vector R, which represent the resultant vector there. And by using the triangle of vector addition, we can say that this vector R is equal to the addition of these two vectors, that is vector P and vector Q. So vector R is to be written as vector P plus vector Q, as the triangle of vector addition follows the associative law. So over here, and also the commutative law. So by using the commutative law, we can say that the vector R is equal to vector Q plus vector P also. As when we complete the diagram, so over here in the triangle OAC, vector P is added with the vector Q, as side AC is parallel to side OB. So this AC is also equal to vector Q. So we can say that the resultant R in this triangle OAC is equal to vector P plus vector Q there. And when we are taking the triangle OBC, so the side BC is equal to side OA, which represents by means of the vector P. So the resultant in the triangle OBC, we can say it is vector Q plus vector P. So over here the resultant of the addition of these two vectors is given by means of the diagonal of the parallelograms, and the starting point of the resultant vector is coincide with the starting points of the vector P and vector Q. That means it meets at the same common point there. Now, as the resultant vector having the magnitude as well as direction, so let us find the magnitude of the resultant there, and for that purpose over here, to find the magnitude of the resultant, we are dropping a perpendicular from the C. As the point, from the point C, we are drawing a perpendicular line which reach to the OA, as we are extending OA Okay, so it extends till D, and from the point C we are dropping a perpendicular. Okay, so here a right angle triangle is formed, triangle ODC. The right angle triangle is formed over here as triangle ODC, and also over here the side AC, which represents the vector Q, and we can say it is the vector AC, and hence it is making an angle theta with vector P, as over here the vector Q is making an angle theta with vector P there. So we can say that CAD is having the angle theta and angle CDA is 90 degree. So one more right angle triangle we are getting over there, that is ADC there. So in the triangle ODC, in this big triangle, we are supposed to apply the Pythagoras theorem, and hence we can write OC square is equal to OD square plus DC square. By applying the Pythagoras theorem, we can write this equation as this OD, we can say that it is the sum of OA and AD. So we can write OD square as OA plus AD the whole square. The value of OD is OA plus AD, as OD square is there, that's why we have to take the squaring of this summation. So we can write OA plus AD the whole square, then plus DC square we have to write as it is. Then we are supposed to use the formula A plus B the whole square. It comes to us A square plus 2AB plus B square. So we can write OA square plus 2OA into AD plus AD square and plus DC square we are supposed to write there. Then by using the Pythagoras theorem, in this big triangle ODC, we are getting OC square as OA square plus 2OA into AD plus AD square plus DC square. Now let us assume the right angle triangle ADC, and also we are supposed to apply the Pythagoras theorem here. So we can write the diagonal square AC square is equal to AD square plus DC square. So we can write AD square plus DC square is equal to AC square. So we can write down AD square plus DC square as AC square in the equation for OC square, as it is having the term AD square plus DC square. Now we are getting the value as AC square. So we can write OC square as OA square plus 2OA into AD plus, instead of AD square plus DC square, we are supposed to write it as AC square. Now give it as equation number 1. Also we know that vector OA is nothing but vector P. Vector AC is equal to vector Q and vector OC is equal to vector R. Let us consider the triangle ADC. So in this triangle we can take the value of the cos theta, as cos theta is nothing but the adjacent upon the hypotenuse. The adjacent side is AD and hypotenuse is AC. So value of cos theta we can write AD upon AC there. And hence by using this we can write down the value of AD. AD will become cos theta into AC, as AC is nothing but, over here the value AC is nothing but is equal to the side OB, which is having the value of the magnitude vector Q. So we can write the magnitude of the vector AC is equal to the magnitude of the vector Q there, and magnitude we are representing by means of the letter only. So AD side having the magnitude is equal to Q into cos theta. So the side of the right angle triangle ADC, the side AD we are having the value now as Q cos theta. Now let's substitute this value in this equation 1 there, and hence here we are getting as OC square we are having the value as OC is nothing but R. Here we are talking about the magnitude only, that's why we are not putting the arrow sign. So OC is the magnitude of the vector OC, and hence the vector OC is equal to vector R. So magnitude of vector OC is equal to magnitude of vector R. So here we are writing just letter R there. So OC square is equal to R square. Then OA square, as OA is equal to magnitude of vector P. So OA square we are supposed to write as P square. Then plus sign we are supposed to write. Then over here we come to know the value of AD there. AD we are having as Q cos theta and OA we are having as P. So 2OA AD we can write as 2P Q cos theta plus AC square is there, as AC is nothing but the magnitude of the vector AC, which is we can write as the magnitude of vector Q. So AC square we can write as Q square. So equation 1 we can write as R square is equal to P square plus Q square plus 2PQ cos theta. Now in the next step we have to take square root on both the side. So square root of R square is R only, and square root of P square plus Q square plus 2PQ cos theta we have to write as square root of P square plus Q square plus 2PQ cos theta. Give it as equation number 2. So here we are getting the magnitude of the resultant vector R, and it is to be given by means of the equation 2 there. R is equal to square root of P square plus Q square plus 2PQ cos theta. Now next let's find out the direction of the resultant of vector R there. As the resultant vector having magnitude as well as direction, the magnitude we had determined, let us determine the direction of the resultant vector. So to find the direction of the resultant vector R, over here we will have to find the angle alpha made by R with vector P, as diagonal represents the resultant vector R, and this resultant is making an angle alpha with vector P there. So to determine the direction of the resultant R, actually we have to determine the angle alpha there. So over here we are supposed to consider the triangle ODC. In this triangle we can write down the value of the tan alpha, as tan alpha is nothing but opposite upon adjacent. Alpha having the opposite side as DC and adjacent side as OD. So we can write tan alpha as DC upon OD there. Now we know that OD is nothing but OA plus AD. So we can write tan alpha is equal to DC upon OA plus AD. Give it equation number 3. And also we have to find out the value of sine theta from the figure. So over here the sine theta is nothing but opposite upon hypotenuse. The opposite side is DC and hypotenuse is AC. So we can write from the figure sine theta is equal to DC upon AC. And hence we can write down the value of DC, which comes to us as DC is equal to AC sin theta. The side AC represents the vector AC and hence it is given as the vector Q. So AC only given the magnitude of the vector AC, hence we have to write down the magnitude of the vector Q. So we can write down the AC as the value Q and hence DC is to be given as Q sin theta. And also we know that AD is equal to Q cos theta. DC we are obtaining as Q sin theta. And OA is nothing but the magnitude of the vector P there. Now let's substitute the value in the equation number 3. So here when we substitute the value there, so DC we are getting as Q sin theta. So tan alpha is equal to DC we have to write as Q sin theta upon OA plus AD. The value OA we are having as P and value AD we are having as Q cos theta. So we have to write it as P plus Q cos theta. So the value tan alpha we are getting as Q sin theta upon P plus Q cos theta. So this is the value of tan alpha. We have to determine the value of alpha only, which gives the direction of the resultant vector R. Hence, to get the value of alpha, we have to take the tan inverse of the angle there, and hence we have to write alpha as tan inverse of Q sin theta upon P plus Q cos theta. Give it equation number 4. So this equation number 4 gives the direction of the resultant vector R. Now similarly, if we are considering the angle beta between vector R and vector Q, so in the same way we have to derive the expression, and we are getting that beta, which gives the direction of the resultant when we are considering the vector Q, as tan inverse P sin theta upon Q plus P cos theta. As when we are considering the direction of the resultant by using the vector P, so we are getting alpha as tan inverse Q sin theta upon P plus Q cos theta. So in the same manner, when we are considering the vector Q, and by using this vector we have to determine the direction of the resultant. So here the angle is to be made there beta, and this beta is given as tan inverse P sin theta upon Q plus P cos theta. So here we have determined the magnitude and direction of the resultant vector R by using the law of parallelogram of vectors, and hence we have completed our topic vector operations with multiplication of a vector by scalar, addition and subtraction of vectors, triangle law of vector addition, and law of parallelogram of vectors there. The chapter will be continued next time in the next lecture. Thank you.